Today I look at a home invasion movie that chooses to flip the script. Hello and welcome to Rotted Review of the Day, and today I am taking a look at the 2019 movie They're Inside. It was just released, and I watched it last night, and I was going to straight away hit the camera here and start talking about what I thought about it, but I stopped myself and decided that I really needed time to let this simmer, and I'm glad that I did, because it kind of stuck in my thoughts as I fell asleep and kind of meditated on it a bit, and now it's the morning, and I've had some time to kind of let it sink in, settle, simmer, all that, and I feel like I'm in a better position to talk about it now. What I found about this movie is that it is a home invasion movie unlike any I've ever seen. Whether or not that's a good or a bad thing is honestly going to be up to the audience, and I think is going to be fairly divisive. I personally honestly think that the elements that it brought to the table that were very unique made for a good movie, and even I think made for a good horror movie in the end, but not necessarily a good home invasion movie, which is not always a bad thing, to take an existing subgenre and turn it on its head, analyze it, potentially alienate fans of that subgenre, and perhaps even pave the way for a new type of film. And I'm not going to say that this film does that, but it has the potential to, and time will tell. And we'll see what the next few years brings as far as combining this element of home invasion and found footage and the other perspective elements that this movie brings. Nevertheless, I did enjoy it, and I'm going to go ahead and throw up all the scores here. Each category is worth up to 25 points for a total possible score of 100 points. The plot of this one followed mostly the characters of Robin and Cody. They are two sisters. Robin is a director, a filmmaker, or aspiring filmmaker, and she has the script that she's written that's very personal. It has to do with her life, her meeting her husband, and so on and so forth. It's fairly autobiographical. Cody is her sister and is along for the ride, and where this movie picks up is Robin has won a contest. Somebody out there that has this really beautiful cabin in the woods kind of situation there, this summer house or winter house, I don't know. Well, either way, it's off season, and they are letting a filmmaker film in their house. They accepted essays and chose the winner. They chose Robin. And it said, okay, come on down. If you have a movie that you want to get off the ground and film and make your dreams come true, we would love for you to do it in our house, in our setting. And this would be an opportunity to allow you to do it. Robin is the winner of this essay and gets to take a film crew with actors that she had audition, and as well as cameramen and so forth, that a lot of which are friends of hers, that she has known for a variety of years, all the way a one person back down to knew them since kindergarten. So it's a fairly tight knit group, and they go there to film, and things start going weird. They start going. This is a very slow burn. This does not start out at a roller coaster pace. It's not. You go up a hill where you are introduced to the characters and the plot, and then immediately down the hill and off you go to the roller coaster. This takes probably, I would say, about half of the movie to really get the ball rolling. It is a very slow burn, and there are elements that kind of present themselves as creepy or weird or out of place in the meantime, but they don't come to a head and come to fruition until about halfway through the movie, or even a little after. So this one takes a little bit of patience to get through, but suffice it to say, things start going weird for Robin and for Cody, and elements of their past kind of butt heads with one another a bit. Elements of the script that Robin has written and is now putting in front of the cameras, Cody is having to take exception to. Meanwhile, all this weird external element, stuff is causing tension on set and delaying production and so on. So when the ball really does get rolling, everybody's nerves are already frazzled and everybody is already in a state of not a fractured relationship, but an unsteady one. My biggest complaint is regarding very specific dialogue. Notably, how secrets, not just inconsistencies in the storyline and so forth, but how one character's secrets are completely exposed during extreme moments. It just kind of felt out of place and jarring. They'll be running for their lives, blood dripping down their limbs, and then all of a sudden it's like, what? You mean like blah? When, the other third person in the group wasn't meant to hear that. And it just felt a little bit like we need to reveal this. How can we make that happen, as opposed to a more organic secret reveal kind of situation. But ultimately, I did like the way that the plot unfolded. Now, the intent category obviously got a fairly high score, and the reason for that is I was engaged and I was interested. At times, I was confused, but I enjoyed that confusion. It made sense, and I think that that's another element of this movie in which it will be divisive. There is a lot of perspective manipulation and perspective changing going on. And when you have kind of a home invasion, but also a found footage kind of combined element there's some unspoken, unwritten laws and rules about what editorial elements could possibly be in this. And if they are in this, then who survived and how? And it was very confusing how it hopped from one foot to the other. I honestly, I don't want to give anything away with that, because I think it's worth experiencing for yourself. But this does take some perspective hops. And I wasn't expecting that. And it was jarring and it was confusing. And ultimately, what I will say is that the confusion for me worked in service of the film, and it did all come together. So it's not a complaint. It's actually a positive thing for me. I did enjoy that element of it. But in my experience, when you have those kind of perspective shifting, confusing elements to it, not everybody is going to enjoy being brought along for that ride. The acting, I thought, was really well done. Carly Hall as Robin and Amanda Kathleen Ward as Cody did a great job. Obviously, there were other people involved here, but I think those two were the most noteworthy elements of this. When I first started this movie, there was an opening scene that was probably 3 or 4 minutes long, and I had little to no hope for the production value and the acting quality of the film based on that. And boy, did it turn itself around as soon as those characters got introduced. So, I was very pleasantly surprised with the production quality and the acting prowess that was presented on the screen, especially given how small and low budget this film was. Technical got a 19 out of 25. Everything about this film ultimately was very adept. The camera work, so on and so forth. But most of the high score comes down to the editing. That level of confusion that I described earlier, I did like, especially considering how well it came together and how much sense it made once everything was wrapped up. And that's another reason that I really wanted to kind of let this movie simmer overnight in my brain before talking about it. But having done so now, I have to give some high kudos marks to the editing in particular. And that gives us a total score of 78 out of 100 points. This was a slow, odd, sometimes self-aware movie that takes existing tropes and completely turns them on their head. And I will say that most of it worked, some of it didn't, in all honesty, but ultimately I would absolutely recommend this film. If you are a dedicated, die-hard fan of home invasion movies and you're expecting a paint-by-numbers, copycat, low-budget remake of Funny Games, you're going to be disappointed. So just kind of pull back a bit and let yourself completely absorb what this movie is trying to convey. Take expectations and leave them at the door and just hit play. And let me know what you think, because I do think this film is going to be divisive. I think there's going to be people that watch it, are upset by it, go to YouTube, find my review, see this high score, and wonder what in the hell I was thinking. That's fair. Everybody has different opinions on this one, but me personally, I did like it. I would recommend it. So that's my review of 2019's They're Inside. I really thank you for joining me here today. If you like these videos, please click subscribe. If you want to support me further, my Patreon link is below. Remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.